yeah, my neighbor found these pieces of Russian rocket debris from in the 80s. I'm like, what? Come on, that's ridiculous. And he showed me pictures of like, that doesn't look like debris. Come on, that's just garbage.
Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 41 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. I forgot, so I actually had to read it here. Fireside Fedi is the show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're seeing this, you are part of the Fediverse. With me today is Professor Sam Lawler. And I'm going to get into this, but Dr. Lawler is a professor of astronomy and a farmer of goats, which makes it really stand out on the Fediverse. Everyone loves the goats. That's what everyone's so excited to talk about. But Professor Lawler, thank you for joining us today. And how would you like to be addressed, actually?
Oh, okay. So that's always a tricky one, right? Because I always, when I have students who I have, power over, and I, give them grades and stuff, I tell them they have to call me Dr. Lawler or Professor Lawler, right? But like, I'm not grading you, so you can call me Sam.
Hey, feel free to grade me as well if you would like, Sam. I'm fine. Like, the only way we can get better is knowing where we're failing, right? Like, everyone, like, I remember being in college and having that mindset. The first time when I went back, I did not have that mindset of like, oh my God, you're just mean. You're just giving me this grade. It's like, no, dude, you've earned it. That is yours, right? And you should learn from it. And everyone just gets pissy about it. But
right, yeah.
Before we go on, how did you get to where you're at today?
So I guess science fiction, lots of science fiction, and wanting to understand, when I look up at the night sky, is there someone else looking down at me, right? Like that is the most interesting question to me, is who else is out there? And what are they doing, right? Where are they living? What are their solar systems like, right? So that's kind of how I got started.
I mean, that's a big. I always love how people whittle this down to, all these life-changing things, and that's why I'm here. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite sci-fi?
Star Wars has been my favorite forever and ever. That's my, I have a deep love for Star Trek as well, but Star Wars is always my favorite.
See, this should be a key question I ask before we start the show. So we're going to be done now, since you like Star Wars.
Yeah. Wrong answer. Sorry.
No, I just had on Chris Zalecki on the show 2 days ago, and he asked me Star Wars or Star Trek, and I said Star Trek, and he's like, but pre-2000s, was it Star Wars or Star Trek? And I was like, oh shit, that's a good point.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of tied for me. So, but Star Trek is us.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. I love Star Trek as well. But Star Wars was my first love. So yeah.
Okay. So you just loved sci-fi, and from a young age, you're like, I'm just going to go be an astronomer of space.
Yeah. And I think that it is so cool that I managed to get a job where I get paid to learn things about space and teach people what I learned. Like, that is so cool. I am so grateful that I ended up here. And there were so many places along the way where it could have not worked out, right? Like, there's a lot of luck involved in getting an academic job to get paid to learn about space, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm very grateful that I ended up here.
No, yeah, we were talking before the show, and you said that when you went to apply, you said 5 jobs in all of Canada.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, when you get to so you do your undergrad, you get a master's degree, you get a PhD, you do a postdoctoral fellowship, probably do a second postdoctoral fellowship, and then you have to get a professor job, right? And like, that's where it gets like, all of those steps are hard. And then getting the professor job at the end is like almost impossible, and very, very few people get it. Right. So yeah, the year that I was totally done with postdocs and it was like, okay, I'm either going to get a professor job this year or I'm just going to, I don't know what, figure something out, do something totally different. And yeah, there were 5 astronomy professor jobs in Canada. And I only, I got one. So yay, go me.
What sets you apart? Like what do you think clinched it for you?
At this particular, well, so one thing was, so I ended up in Saskatchewan, which is one of the coldest places in the world, right? Like it's
literally,
ridiculous.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. And I had never, like when I came for my job interview here, it was below -30 Celsius, right? Which is just ridiculous, right? Like I had never experienced anything remotely that cold. And it's amazing, right? Because this is a place where very few people move here, right? Like everybody who lives here grew up here.
Yeah.
and so they don't know that this is kind of insane to live here. Like it's like, you know, you have to plug in your car, not to charge it, to warm up the engine before it will start when it's that cold, right? There's engine block heaters, and you know, just all these things that people do that seem normal. So I think that was also a really big filter for this job. And I should because
you're the only one that saw it. It's like Saskatchewan, yeah, I'll do that. And like 500 others are like, hell no.
Yeah, I almost didn't apply. Like I was really like, do I want to live? Like I'd never been to Saskatchewan. I didn't know anything. Like all I know is it's really cold. But like this turned out to be such a great thing for me because it's so as a professional astronomer, you pretty much end up in a big city, right? Like you end up working at a university in a big city, and there's light pollution and you don't get to see dark skies. But I ended up at a university in a tiny city in a very flat, very dark place. And I can live on a farm and work at the university. And like, that's just amazing. Like it worked out so well. And just by random chance. So now I get to live on a farm. I can see the Milky Way from my back door. I can have goats and I get to be a professional astronomer. Like it's so cool. It's so cool.
No, and your passion and excitement is very obvious how much you love it. You're living like your perfect life, it sounds like.
It's great.
And that's one of the things that I've never had that experience of looking up at the sky and actually seeing everything out there, right? Like you mentioned light pollution. We all live in some kind of somewhat urban area. And even if you're out in the woods, it's still, you're close enough to something that it washes that stuff out. It's a completely different thing when there's literally no light. There's, I think, one place in the United States, right? Arizona or something like
Probably Arizona. Yeah, there's a few dark sky places, but it's hard, and most of them are out in the western part of the US. I think it's something like 99% of people in North America cannot see the Milky Way from their house, right? Like it's a very, very small. So I appreciate it every single night that I get to see the Milky Way.
And it humbles you, right? It makes you realize how small you are. And I think that's one of the things that we've lost. We think all of the problems revolve around what we're going on. And then if you look up and see billions of stars, you're like, yeah, no, this isn't such a big deal.
Yeah, we're nothing. We're a speck of dust. It's like it's really great and really terrible at the same time, right? I think it's important.
I love how you said that. I really hope you start every semester at the very beginning of the class going, "You're nothing." Excuse
don't
me,
worry don't stress out about this class. You're nothing.
You're nothing. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things.
That's not quite the perspective that I try to bring to my teaching, but I do really like, I do end every class that I teach. I end it with Carl Sagan's pale blue dot speech, right? Because it is so powerful, right? It is just so, it's such a great perspective.
Do you
right?
have it memorized?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I do, like, I mean, just that perspective of we're nothing, but we're also the only place in the universe that we know has life. This is the only place that humans can live, right? Like, no matter how terrible we screw up this planet, it will still be easier to live here than anywhere else in the solar system, right? Mars, no way. Like, Mars has no air, no magnetic field. The dirt is made of poison, right? Like, like, no matter what, it will be easier to live here on Earth.
I don't know. I think I have I have a couple billionaires I would like to really try to see if they can live there. I would be fine with that.
Yeah. No, that's a good project.
So the pale blue dot, it's interesting because I actually have a poster upstairs with that. And when my kids, I have two little kids, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and every once in a while they'll be like, what is that a picture of? And then we go over it again. And I was like, that's us.
Yeah.
And they're like, but there's nothing there. And I was like, yeah. Then I rock them to sleep with "You're nothing, dear."
Yeah.
For those that haven't, trying to find a good. Oh, here's Dagnabbit. But anyway, I'll skip it because I'm can't find a good picture. Everyone should go look up Carl Sagan talking about the pale blue dot, and you realize that. And it's interesting though you say it that way because I've never thought of it like, yes, we are nothing in the grand scheme of things. However, as far as we know, we're everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And it just, it really just emphasizes how important and special and unique our planet is, right? At the same time that it's nothing, right? It's this weird dichotomy that you have to hold in your head all the time as an astronomer. It's neat. I like it.
So do you think that there's life out there?
Oh, there's gotta be. There has to be, right? Yeah, there has to be. Like, that's so one of the classes I teach is astrobiology, right? And a big part of that class is the Fermi paradox, right? So the whole question is, so where is everybody, right? Like, there has to be other life, right? And there's lots of very interesting possible solutions, lots of very scary possible solutions to the Fermi paradox about, how long technologically advanced civilizations survive and how hard space travel is. And one of my favorite solution though is that civilizations that live a long time, either there's this the Kardashev, like using all the energy in a whole galaxy, right, like going in that direction, but like that's not going to happen for any barely any civilizations will get to that point. The ones that survive a long time are the ones that figure out how not to use a lot of energy, how to fit into their environment, how to live within the limits of their planet, and then they're undetectable, right? So I think that's a really, really interesting possibility, right? Like a long-lived civilization is indistinguishable from nature, right? And I think that's a really interesting thing to think about.
So you're saying you either have to adapt or you're doomed to fail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's another reason that I have goats and I grow food and stuff, because this is just like way too much. Like, this is
it brings you back down to earth and it humanizes. Yeah, literally, right? Like it's amazing how much something like just stepping outside and just letting the wind hit your face and look at the trees and like it does ground you back to it, because it would easily overwhelm you.
Yeah.
That's it's interesting. Again, this is not where I thought the conversation was going to go, but I love it. What are your first off, I mean, I usually joke like, oh, I know what it is, but for everyone else, do you want to explain the Fermi paradox? Because the show is like anyone on the Fediverse that listens. I find it fascinating and also absolutely horrifying.
Right. Yeah. So the Fermi paradox. So Enrico Fermi, one of the Manhattan Project scientists who brought us the atomic bomb. So he asked it's just a simple question. So where is everybody? Right? Like, if there are, billions of planets, countless billions of planets in our own in our own Milky Way galaxy, right? And billions of galaxies beyond that, life must have arisen somewhere else and should be billions of years ahead of us, right? So where is everybody? It's a very simple question that has, like very scary implications and very interesting implications.
Which is your favorite?
Oh, I told you that I like this what do they call it? Homeostatic awakening, right? Like this idea that civilizations that live a long time can you just don't see them because they're not using tons of energy, right? We're looking for civilizations that are using tons of energy. Like we're barely detectable, right? So we're looking for civilizations that are using way more energy than us. And like, is that even possible? Like, can you do that without destroying your planet? Like that's yeah. And then I another really fascinating one that I can't go into too deeply, but talking to like one thing that I love about teaching at this university is there's a lot of connection with local indigenous elders. So I've been able to bring in, so even though I'm a settler, I don't have, and I just, moved here a few years ago. So I'm still learning how to live on this land here. So I was able to bring in a Cree elder to talk about, what just his perspective on astronomy. And I think that's really great for an astronomy class to just have that connection to, people have been looking up at the sky for as long as we've been human and making stories and learning things, longer. Right? And there's so much knowledge wrapped up in those stories. And so his suggestion, I've heard this from Wilfred Buck, the Cree elder also, is that like, if you're advanced enough, you just travel with your mind. You don't even need a spaceship. Like, what? That's amazing.
That's deep.
So that's, exactly. Right. So that's another possible solution. They don't need spaceships. We don't need to detect them. They're here on some other way that is beyond our understanding.
Again, because I'm a Star Trek fan, I have to go with the Star Trek thing of like, everyone just agrees that you don't, you stay away until they're ready, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because the thought that we're either too late and everyone's gone, or everyone burns out, or there's a great system that kills anything that it finds, like those are horrifying to me.
They're horrifying. Yeah, completely horrifying. So I like these far out there ideas.
So really what you're saying is your class is a horror show.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I end with you're nothing. Yeah.
Just a reminder, guys, you're nothing. And that'll be the last question on the final. What are you? Nothing.
You're nothing. And we might get hit by an asteroid. So, yeah.
But there's nothing we could do about it either. So you live in the moment.
No, there is some. So the thing with asteroids is we have the technology to deflect, right? So but we can't do anything about the fact that we're nothing. So
yeah, exactly. Or that we could be wiped out by a superior intelligence at any time.
Right. Like, yeah. That one.
I always, and I grew up on Star Trek. I love the moral questions around Star Trek. Like on Enterprise, before they had the Prime Directive, they had, well, this species is dying and this species serves them. Oh, by the way, this species is evolving. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
And we hope that a benevolent entity is out there that sees that and is like, you have to figure it out, and not, just kill everyone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And we just have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. So you are a professor of astronomy. You are a dynamical modeler with a strong background in observational astronomy.
Yep.
So you just like hang out in a field and stare at the sky.
I do, as much as I can get away with. Yeah, but
and get paid. What do you do for a living? She's just a hobo. She lays out in the field.
Yeah.
No, I'm a professor. Oh, close enough.
Yeah. No, I do a lot of measuring the orbits of small bodies in the outer solar system. So Kuiper Belt objects, right? So these are small icy bodies like Pluto. So I try to find more of them and measure their orbits mostly using the Canada, France, Hawaii telescope. And then I
what is the Canada, France, Hawaii telescope?
Yeah, so it's a telescope on Mauna Kea in Hawaii. It was built, I believe, in the 70s. And the camera that we use is quite old. It's not quite as old as the 70s, but it's old, but it's great. It's one of the best. It's this huge wide field camera. So it's great for like, okay, want to look at a spot on the sky and find lots of moving dots in that spot on the sky, right? So this is one of the best telescopes in the world for discovering Kuiper Belt objects. And I don't know the history of why it's Canada, France, and Hawaii that are that came together to fund this telescope, but that's what it's called. And yeah,
Canada, France, in the U.S.
Right? Yeah, so exactly.
But it's Hawaii.
Hawaii gets its own country status in that name for whatever reason.
Do you ever get to go there and actually directly use it, or you just collect the data from it?
Which it's kind of sad. So, so scientifically and ecologically, it makes a lot more sense for the way that they run the telescope is called queue-based observing. So I say, okay, I have, I apply for time, I get some time, and I say, I want you to look at this coordinate on the sky on this date when, the clouds are this good and the moon is this small. And, there's all these conditions that I can put in. And then they just kind of fit that observation in with a bunch of other observations, right? So I never have like a night when the telescope is mine. It's like I'm constantly feeding in they're putting in a whole bunch of different programs together, right? So efficiency wise, it's fantastic. And for discovering and measuring the orbits of Kuiper Belt objects, it is the best way to do it. Like this is so much better than a telescope that says, here, you get a night. Oh, it's cloudy, too bad. Right? Because we really do need to follow up those orbits every month when we first find them. So this is fantastic. And I love it, but I am sad that I don't get to go to Hawaii every month. So yeah.
So you on your profile, it says asteroid 42910. Did you find that asteroid? Or
no.
What's 42910?
Yeah, asteroids are named after people, and so there's a committee of the International Astronomical Union where once you discover an asteroid and its orbit is well measured, you can submit a name. And so there's a bunch of asteroids that don't have people, like they just have a number, and you can submit a name to this committee if you discover asteroids. And somebody put my name in, so I have an asteroid named after me, which is really cool.
I was just looking it up, and I was hoping to find pictures or something. Oh, there's a picture here. Let me. I'll grab this one.
It's a dot.
I was gonna say this is not the same as like, oh honey, I bought you a star, and it's like no, this is not a star. It's a ball of rock.
It's an asteroid. Yeah. But if you want something named after you, for sure, the best way to do that is to discover a comet, because that automatically gets named after whoever discovers it. So go find a comet if you want something named after you.
And that's a piece of cake to find, right? I mean,
exactly.
So here's the Professor Sam Lawler asteroid. It looks beautiful. Whoa, holy shit. So there's a size rendering at the bottom, and it's as big as like Mount Everest. I mean, that's a good, you could retire there.
Yeah. If it had air and stuff, that would be nice, but I don't think it does.
But you could bring the goats. You'll at least have company.
Even colder than Saskatchewan.
Just a tad. So you look at objects in the Kuiper Belt, and obviously you have to get a lot of time on the telescope, as you said, over a series of times, because you take a picture, you see how it moves, you take a picture, you see how it moves, right? And then you do math in there. What is the most interesting thing you found, or like the scariest, or like, is there any asteroid out there that you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So So I mostly ignore asteroids. They're like noise.
And any kind of body.
Galaxies too, right? Like those are also annoying noise in my images.
Black holes, no one needs it.
I want the fuzzy dots. That's what I'm looking for. So what the most interesting thing? So I accidentally helped discover that latest batch of Saturn moons. So Saturn now has 274 moons, right? And so what happened? So as I'm scheduling the telescope, right? So it's not just me, right? Like I'm part of a big team, but I'm one of two people leading this team, right? So is one of my jobs is to program the telescope, right? And usually there's another person who checks my coordinates, right? Because I'm, I say like, okay, I want, I found Kuiper Belt objects in this spot on the sky last year, run a bunch of code to figure out like, where are they going to be on the sky this year on average? Like how do I find the most of them, right? And so I run that code, I find the coordinates, and then someone else double checks my coordinates, and then we put it on the telescope, right? And there was one time when the other person who was supposed to check was on vacation. So I put in the coordinates and I pointed at the sky, and then, I look at the images the next day and I see, instead of like, just a nice star field, I see this hideous oversaturated like blob in the middle of my image. Like, oh no, what did I do? Oh no. Like, so it turns out that Saturn had photobombed my coordinates, right? I didn't even think to check for Saturn. It did not cross my mind.
I love that idea. I was going to the grocery store and I just forgot to check for Saturn.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like the weird things that you have to do as an astronomer. So normally, like if you were going to take a picture of Saturn with like a little tiny telescope, it would be like, a few second exposure, right? So I had just used a giant 4-meter mirror to stare at Saturn for 5 minutes. Like, oh no. So it was not ideal, but it turns out someone else on my team, Edward Ashton, was already looking for Saturn moons in another program. So he very carefully placed his images around Saturn, so Saturn wasn't in them, but some of the moons are so close to Saturn that accidentally pointing the telescope at Saturn actually helped to fill in those orbits. So I accidentally helped with that batch of 128 new moons that Edward Ashton discovered. So
it's these kinds of things, and scientists like you, where we have to downgrade things like Pluto.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it half joking, but that's literally what it comes to. Like, right? Like, I remember back when Pluto was no longer a thing and people were pissed about it. It's like, it's a ball of rock in space, guys. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because there was a time when, I'd go to classrooms fairly often and talk to kids because that's the best part of being an astronomer. And for a while, kids were really angry about Pluto, like really, truly angry. But now they don't care. Like Pluto's never been a planet, whatever. It's a Kuiper Belt object. Like, okay, good.
my kids always, whenever we would do the planets, because I would do it with my kids at night, and they always insisted, and protoplanet Pluto. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Yeah.
So how do you define a moon? What is the difference between 128 new moons and 128 just floating bodies of rock?
Yeah, well, so they're orbiting Saturn, right? So instead of orbiting the sun, they're orbiting Saturn, right? But probably a lot of them are captured from things that were orbiting the sun, right? And interestingly, I found this super interesting because this is a little bit outside my little tiny subfield of expertise. But most of these moons are actually orbiting backwards around Saturn. Most of these 128 new moons. And that's really weird, right? Like, I don't know, we think about the planets at orbits as being very static and like, oh, Mars is at this distance, Jupiter's at this distance. But like they're all moving around a tiny bit all the time. And these small bodies are flying around and their orbits are changing. They get gravitational kicks. They get captured by planets, right? So
Right.
finding a whole bunch of backwards moons is an indication that like something got captured and then it smashed and made all these pieces that are in orbit today, right? Like there's this whole story from finding this new clump of moons. Right. And it's, you know, telling us just about how dynamic and changing our solar system is on, you know, fairly long timescales for humans, but really short timescales compared to how long our solar system's been here. Right.
I once talked to a very brilliant person who said, "You're nothing." So I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Well, because bodies orbiting a central planet normally go with its rotation, right? So when you say backwards, you're saying it's going against its rotation,
it's going the other direction.
Does that slow down the body? So eventually it will come into the planetary surface?
It would if they were very massive, right? But these moons are tiny.
Okay.
They're like a kilometer or a couple of kilometers. And Saturn is huge, right? I forget exactly what the mass is, but it's like 100 times the mass of Earth, right? I mean, it's really, really big. So a little kilometer ball of ice or rock is not going to slow down. Yeah,
that's nothing.
Much. Yeah. You need something really big like our moon to have you know, significant effects on the rotation period.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, these are where do we draw the line, like size wise or whatnot? If there was something else floating in space, I mean, the ISS, for instance, it's, you know, it's not a kilometer, but it's, for us, it's a decent size and it orbits the planet.
Right. Yeah. And with Saturn in particular, it gets really messy because it's like, well, when is it a really big ring particle or a really small moon, right? Like, and there's these moonlets that are orbiting inside the rings, and astronomers can see their gravitational effects on the ring particles around them, and right. So like, does that count as a moon? So what I've heard from Edward, Edward Ashton, who discovered these moons, is that the IAU is not even going to let him name them because they're too small. So they've set a cutoff of like, you know, it has to be this big before it gets a name. So these ones will all just get numbers.
The cutoff is
that's kind of disappointing.
No one from Saskatchewan can find them.
He's in Taiwan. So
okay.
But yeah, astronomy is very international, right? Like the team of people who are working on this particular project. Yeah. Taiwan, New Zealand, US, Canada, France. So it's a nightmare to schedule telecons, right? It's like Zoom meetings are horrible, right?
Someone's
so I
in the
usually
middle of the
alternate
night
between like a morning time for me and an evening time for me. And that gets at least, you know, like Taiwan isn't always stuck with 4 a.m. or whatever.
It seems like a lot of classical science is that way in general, right? Yeah, where you know a piece, like you mentioned, I mean, we talked about Fermi and the atomic bomb. The U.S. wouldn't have gotten there without a lot of external country help. We had Jewish folks, Russian folks, like from all over the country, or all over the world that came here. And it's interesting because I feel like the internet has helped empower that even more. Like you can have a colleague that you work side by side with every day, and they're on the other side of the world.
Yeah. And the people that I work with every day are in other parts of Canada or other parts of the US. Like it's, exactly. So, yep. it's nice.
How do you like coordinate that? Like they don't, you know, normally, so I've always worked like a regular corporate job, and it's like, okay, well, my boss has these, you know, people under him, and also we're going to be working with this group. But you're literally like, hey, I'm an astronomer. I'm now in the club. Who wants to talk to me?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like you have people that you worked with during grad school and people you work with during your postdoc. And sometimes you meet people at conferences, or you just like read a really interesting paper, and that leads to a collaboration, right? It's very fluid. It's really neat, actually. I am the only professional research astronomer in the province, right? In the province of Saskatchewan, right? Okay. Which is not small, right? Small population wise, but not small area wise, right?
Huge.
So So that's why. So I get a lot of local radio calls and stuff, and when space debris falls anywhere in the province, then that's my job to deal with, right?
They call you.
That's a whole other set of stories that we can talk about if you want. But that's been fascinating.
Did you ever, like, someone called you, be like, "Oh, get Dr. Lawler. This just fell from space," and you get there and it's like, "That's Big Bill's trash."
Oh, well, so I have a whole, but like there, okay, so there's been a whole series of that was my assumption when I first got an email about the SpaceX debris that fell like 45 minutes away from here. Is like, like this journalist emails me and says, this farmer says he found space debris. I'm like, yeah, right. Come on. He found garbage in his field. He didn't find space debris. And then I saw pictures of it. I'm like, oh no, that's space debris. Oh no, this is my problem now. Oh no. Right. So, but then I had, so then there's another farmer who found another piece of space debris from SpaceX, later on. And eventually, like, that was a whole long mystery to track that guy down, which involved going on the radio and just asking, like, does anybody know where this piece fell? And someone told me, like, it's just like, oh, this is great. But so then that guy had, his neighbor was like, oh yeah, my neighbor found these pieces of Russian rocket debris from in the 80s. I'm like,
I know you probably want to hear what happened next on the show, but the following section is only available on the Fediverse. These uploads to big tech platforms such as YouTube, they're just to spread awareness about the Fedi. They were never supposed to be the official way for you to watch the show anyway. So go on and get the full episode on video.firesidefedi.live. It is absolutely free. Just a different website. This video will now continue from a bit later in the conversation.
You're excellent at delivering horrible information.
You're nothing.
You're nothing. Satellites are going to destroy the upper atmosphere.
Yeah. So this is what I spend time on.
So, but the other thing that people love about you are goats.
Goats, yes, and that's why I have goats, to keep me sane through all of this scary stuff. I am nothing, but I have goats, so it's fine.
How many goats do you have?
Right now I have, let's see, I've been selling like one here and there, so I think I'm down to 20. I think 20. I have 20 left. 20 goats. So yeah.
So why goats? Did you always want goats? Did you grow up with goats?
Yeah, so that was my pandemic project. Like, I had just moved to this beautiful farm in Saskatchewan. I had made it through my first Saskatchewan winter without dying, and like everything shut down. It's like, I'm not commuting to work anymore. I'm gonna get a goat and learn how to milk it and start making cheese, and it has continued, and I'm so happy about it. Like, it's the best. I love goats.
How is goat milk and goat cheese?
It's good. It's good. I mean, some of the cheeses, because I'm learning as I go. So some of the cheeses goes to the chickens.
I'm not gonna be trying it. You can say it's the best cheese in the world. I wouldn't know.
But some of it goes to the chickens and some of it goes to me. So, it's great. And I just, I use goat milk in my coffee or whatever. Like, I just use goat milk for everything. It's great. I'm very happy I get to do it. And I have all this, I have like a giant hayfield. And so, my neighbor cuts the hay and takes 2/3 and gives us 1/3. And we sell most of that back to him anyway, because we don't need that much. And yeah, so it's like, I'm making protein with my land. It's really cool. It's really cool.
It's and for anyone in this generation that says you can't afford a house, just go out to Saskatchewan.
I mean, honestly, that was a big draw. That was one of the deciding things was like, okay, well, if we can survive -40, then yeah,
yeah, that's all you need. Right?
Yeah, I bought a whole farm in Saskatchewan for less than a condo in Victoria, BC, where I was living. Right, so it's it's a little more affordable, but winter. There's winter.
I mean, if you can learn how to survive without an atmosphere, you have your own asteroid already.
Exactly.
Too. So
exactly.
You've taken one step closer by moving to Saskatchewan.
It's training. Yeah. Eventually I'll go move to my asteroid.
All right. Now for the real reason I asked Dr. Lawler here, which it seems like we've only just started the episode. We've already been going for about an hour, but is to give her the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime.
Ooh.
Our prize today is an exact copy of the universe that you can study. Thought about giving you the answer to life, the universe, and everything, but we already know it's 42, so that one's ruined for you.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Yeah. Are you ready for the quiz?
Sure, let's go.
All right. Favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
Do you want me to answer that one or?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I don't even watch movies anymore, so I'm just gonna I just don't have time. So what is my favorite movie? I don't know. I guess I'll just go with Star Wars because it's a classic. And
the original?
Spaceballs is the original. Well, okay, if I have to pick one Star Wars movie, I would say The Empire Strikes Back. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm a huge Spaceball fan. That's everyone gets asked that question.
Oh yeah, and Spaceballs is a close second. So yeah.
So excited for Spaceballs 2, and I am so concerned about Spaceballs 2.
There's a Spaceballs 2?
You didn't know this?
I didn't even know that. I'm so out of it with media stuff.
Everyone knows everyone. Like the folks that I know on the Fediverse, right? Like my kind of icons are always like Dark Helmet. So it's always Rick Moranis. Even at work, my icon is Dark Helmet. And everyone's like, oh, that's you? I was like, no, it's from a movie. But anyway, for about 20 or 30 years, people are like, Spaceballs 2 is coming, Spaceballs 2 is coming, Spaceballs 2. And I was like, no, it's not. Stop. It's not coming. And then literally, what was it, like 6 months ago? All the people on the Fediverse, I started getting massive pings, and some of the guys in my Matrix channel were like, hey, did you know Spaceballs 2 is coming? It's like, no, it's not. And they're like, Mel Brooks just made a post that Spaceballs 2 is coming. I was like, what?
Okay, well, I will definitely watch it. So yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I will watch it. I'm very apprehensive, but I'm hopeful. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next question.
Okay.
Goats. Damascus, Kalari Red, or Beetle?
Oh no. I don't know.
I just Googled goats and I found the most weird and interesting looking goats.
Oh, okay.
In the world.
I was like, these sound vaguely familiar, but what are they? So, okay. No, I have Nubians, Saanans, and La Manchas. So that's what I've got. Okay. They're all dairy breeds.
So none of them.
None of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dairy breeds. And La Manchas are my new favorite because they have little short ears and I don't have to worry about frostbite. Because Saskatchewan.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Because some of these goats have ears down to the ground.
Yeah.
It's insane. No, I'll make sure to hold it against you when I grade your quiz at the end.
Okay, good. So, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So, and I told you I was going to ask you this one: dark energy or timescape?
Right. Yeah. And I haven't heard of this. So my answer is going to be, I like rocks that are close by. I don't I even have a hard time teaching cosmology. I like things that are close by that I can study, that I understand, that I only need, Newton's laws to figure out their orbits and stuff. That's what I like. So.
Okay. So yeah, and it's interesting that and it might be one of those buzz things. Like for a while there, everyone knew about string theory, right? And even though it had been kind of debunked, and then it built back up and whatnot. So timescape, just to let you know, timescape cosmology is a theoretical model that suggests the universe's expansion can be explained without dark energy by considering the effects of gravitational variations of time. Essentially, what it talks about is time slows down in closer to bodies. My understanding, I'm not a physicist, but it slows down closer to bodies, and then in open space, it can freely flow again.
Yeah. Ooh, I like this because I always feel like a giant liar when I talk about dark energy, and like, oh yeah, by the way, like, so it's like I'm building.
It's
I'm
a joke, right?
Like, I get to the end of the class, and like not only are you nothing, but we don't know what 70% of the universe is. We just made up the name, dark energy. Yep, we have no idea.
And the name, like everything else in science has such a sciencey name, and then there's just. You imagine there's just some guy drinking at a bar and like, what if it's dark energy?
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'll definitely read a bit about this timescape theory, and then I'll go back to my safe close by rocks.
Well, let us know your thoughts on it, because there is there's so much information and misinformation out there. Like, I'm not one of those people that assumes I know everything. On the contrary, I know nothing, but that's why I talk to people in specialized fields.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree, and when I was doing my master's, I had PhDs that were my teachers. And it's interesting because they know a ridiculous amount about very specific topics. Exactly. And then outside of that, they know nothing. So, and nothing against them, but yeah, exactly. Right. But to get other people's takes on those specific things, this is why we need science. This is why we need people that are specialized in these fields that can help us with these very specific instances. Maybe this is all BS for I know. I don't know. I just like the idea of timescape. So, and it's,
I like it. It's
it sounds more interesting than dark energy.
Totally. I agree.
Well, what is it? It's dark and it's energy. Yeah, but what's it look like? Dark. What's it do? It has energy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I always feel
have we seen it?
Like
no.
Yeah. I feel like a terrible liar when I have to teach my students this. No, actually, people really do believe this, actually. I promise. I'm not just making this up. I promise. This is
at the end of the semester. Gotcha. There's no such thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're nothing.
Yeah, and you're nothing. Yeah.
You're nothing. I just imagine now in your email, like from at the very bottom where you sign your name, which is, remember, you are nothing.
You are nothing.
It's a good way
that's the big takeaway from this. Yeah.
Right, next question is, what does an alternate universe Dr. Lawler do?
Oh, maybe what would an alternate universe probably write science fiction books.
Write science fiction? Okay.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Definitely. About timescape and stuff.
Okay. Hey, again, that sounds more interesting than dark energy. I think there was a book called Timescape, wasn't there?
It sounds familiar. Yeah, I believe it.
1980 science fiction by Gregory Benford. I've never read it. Anyway, I used my alternate universe phone here. It changes shapes and sizes, and it's very confusing how it works. You won't understand, so don't ask. And I reached out to an alternate universe Dr. Lawler, and the alternate universe Dr. Lawler said she is also an astrophysicist. She's a doctor of astrophysics. I got excited and asked what kind of universal body she studies, and she says, well, she studies the bodies of dogs named Astro and watches their physics. So
I have a dog named Sedna, which is a Kuiper Belt object. So
Oh, nice.
There you go. I'm
so
close.
you're into Sedna physics.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love stupid wordplay.
Yeah.
I'm a dad. I have to be dumb. All right. Next question: Saskatoon berry pie, beaver tails, or butter tarts?
Oh, Saskatoon pie for sure. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, like when you bake like Saskatoon berries are kind of like blueberries when you just eat them off the bush, but when you bake them, it's like magic. They transform into something that is 1,000,000 times better, and it's so good. Yeah. I highly recommend it.
I usually ask the Canadians, I usually throw poutine in there, but it seems like poutine always wins. But I'll ask you, since you picked Saskatoon berry pie,
poutine or
if I had
Saskatoon pie,
poutine,
that would be tricky, because I do make cheese curds sometimes, and
you already
put them
there
on potatoes that my partner grew, and like it's amazing. So yeah, but we also have lots of Saskatoon berries in the woods. So
oh wow,
it's yeah, these are things that we actually eat a lot in Canada.
You're telling me you can live off the land and not the grocery store? What?
Well, except for when it's -40, but yeah, you got to plan ahead.
You can, but it's not exactly
you
fun.
can. It's hard. Yeah.
And the goats still need food.
Yep, exactly. They need a lot more food when it's that cold. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. All right. And then, as usual, the last question will be sent to Dr. Lawler telepathically.
Oh, no.
I'll send it to you telepathically. You take your time, think very carefully on it. And when you have the answer to this very, very tricky telepathic question, you let me know your answer. Okay? You ready?
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. There it goes. It might take a second. You're in Saskatoon, or Saskatoon. You're in Saskatchewan. It might take a minute to get to you. I mean, telepathy moves faster than the speed of light, but take your time and think about it and let me know when you have an answer.
Okay. The answer is, you are nothing.
Perfect way to end it. I love that. Yeah. Congratulations. You got every answer either correct or incorrect. Good job.
Yay.
You get an A+ or an F, one of the two.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
doesn't matter. We're nothing.
Unfortunately, when I went to go get you the exact copy of the universe, it was a 1-to-1 ratio and we just got pulled inside of it. So Dr. Lawler, congratulations. This universe is yours to explore.
Thank you. Thank you. It's beautiful.
Just remember, you're nothing in it. So
yeah, exactly. We're
and
nothing.
yet we're everything. And I'll say this before we go is one of the things, I think it was Carl Sagan that really ramped up the idea, or what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Was an advocate of the idea of, once we're gone, we just go right back into the universe, and we are here so that the universe may experience itself. And I think that that's absolutely beautiful. So
yes.
Remember, even no matter what you believe, whether you believe in religion or what, we all are energy and meat, and that energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah. We are star stuff and nothing.
I love star stuff. I tell my kids all the time, you're my favorite star stuff. I think it's so beautiful. I love it. But, all right. Well, Dr. Lawler, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. I hope people get outside and look up and enjoy being nothing.
Yeah. And then go on your day and remember, you might be the most important thing in the universe too.
Yeah.
Goes both ways. It's crazy. And everyone on the Fediverse, thank you so much for coming to watch this. It's been absolutely great. Remember, you're unique, you're interesting, you're worthwhile. Again, you're everything. You matter. You bring a unique perspective to this world that no one else can bring. And I'm grateful you're out there in the Fediverse living and enjoying it with us. So thank you guys so much. We have btfree.org, which is my nonprofit. If anyone's interested, go check out some of that stuff. I'm reworking the web pages constantly and redirecting the places. So if it's broken for a second, give it a couple of minutes and I'll fix it. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great one.